It doesn't matter what year you are. I'm head of the associates. If I give you an assignment, you do it.
Hey, everybody. This is your daily dose of all things royal. Welcome back, my gorgeous, good looking friends. As many of you know, that Silicon Valley Bank collapsed and had many people in Silicon Valley freaking out, particularly the tech startups. There are a lot of rumors flying around at this moment that Harry and Meghan had sunk a lot of their money into this bank. I'm going to say I have not seen anything with evidence that Harry and Meghan had used that bank, so I'm not going to spread that rumor with everybody else. I simply don't know. But what I do know is that BetterUp definitely did have money with the bank, but it has not affected them to a point where they've been put out of business. What I can say is that the company is definitely on a path to destruction, and this situation with the bank probably sped up the process. As you know, I've been keeping my eye on these reviews, and it is important that the voices of the people who are suffering in the organization get heard. So, since the last video, there had been quite a few more. So, what I've done is I pulled a few and I'm going to read them to you so everybody can see the testimonials of these employees who are suffering in a mentally abusive environment. Dated March 8th, 2023. Title: Deliver mission to everyone except our employees. Ooh, this is going to be good. The pros: incredibly talented salespeople. Your coach is your saving grace. Now, here are the cons: unattainable quota. 58 out of 60 reps missed quota last year. Ooh, brutal. Immature CEO who makes rash decisions. Do not practice what we preach. Toxic culture from Alexi down. Sales management are inexperienced and inequipped to lead enterprise sales. Some AVPs do not even have SaaS, let alone any sales experience. Favoritism. No sales playbook for outbound enterprise sales. Constantly changing sales strategies, priorities, targets, and contracting minimums. If you take excellent salespeople, put them into a toxic and under supported environment, and they don't succeed, it is in the environment, not them. Shame on you for making these top 1% players feel that they are not enough and constantly needing to prove themselves. Advice to management. BetterUp's fiscal year 24 kickoff. Alexi CEO not only disclosed that our job as employees is to deliver the mission to everyone except ourselves, but he also said, "Do I need to threaten that I've been talking to the board about layoffs?" when someone was mistakenly off mute ordering sandwiches. Painting layoffs, now the third round under a year, as performance is cowardly. Shame on sales management for going along with it like a bunch of pathetic sheep. It's unethical. It could not be more clear that Alexi is scared for his position as CEO, and the board is putting pressure. If the company has any shot of still going public, hire a tenured and proven CRO. Stop promoting friends from within who have zero sales experience, scaling companies from 250 million annual recurring revenue to 1 billion only because they've been around since day one. HR, no need to reply to this Glassdoor. Please just forward this to Alexi. The numbers say it itself. You have 60 reps and 58 of them are not making numbers. That's pretty telling, and that should be something on the executive's mind to say, what are we doing wrong? Because you cannot have 58 people who are all incompetent. And that means that your hiring people and your executive leadership who are picking and choosing these people are equally not competent. If I were an investor, I'd be pulling out because this is a sinking ship as we're seeing it. They really do need to do some restructuring and not touching the sales force. What they need to do is fire the executives because they're not doing their job effectively. If they can't drive consistent results with their workforce, what makes you think they're going to be able to drive consistent results to Wall Street? And then you have them now lying to Wall Street because that's exactly what is going to happen in order to save face that this company is not a profitable company because they have the wrong people running the show. The next one, March 9th, 2023. Talented people afraid of speaking up. Pros. Some high caliber talent joined attracted by an inspiring mission and the perspective of hypergrowth and IPO. As a benefit, you get unlimited access to the platform, which is a great perk. Focus on mindsets during the hiring process makes most hires be really open to learn and grow. Amazing learning culture where you'll get exposed to the latest research in positive psychology if that is your thing. Now for the cons. Very selected in group of old timers at the leadership level makes it hard for newcomers to have opportunities and be heard, no matter how much experience you have. Positive psychology at times weaponized against employees. No room for upward criticism makes people afraid of speaking up and be labeled as victims. Oh, isn't that rich? Very low tolerance for experimentation or mistakes. One bad impression with the in group will create bias and hunt you down. Ooh. Advice to management. There's a disconnect between what you preach to others and what you do internally. Simply put, walk the talk. Observe the pressure you are getting from the board and funnel it right. You are crashing your people, and word of mouth will impact your reputation no matter how grandiose and important your mission is. Yes, and if anybody who's working at BetterUp, please write your reviews in Glassdoor and I will read them out loud. These voices are important and they matter, and this should be exposed. One of the common themes that I'm seeing in these reviews is the complete disconnect between the executive leadership and the sales force. Well, the sales force is the most important department out of the entire company. They're the ones generating the revenue to keep you guys afloat and operating. So, it should not be something the executives should be opposed of to rolling up their sleeves and pitching in to help these reps. Go help them close some deals. Put your celebrity to work and get Harry out on a sales call. I'm sure there is an executive or two that would love to sit down with this idiot just to say that they met royalty. This next one, equally scathing, dated March 9th, 2023. This was a manager, and the title says, wow, just wow. Unbelievable. The pros, one line, some great coworkers, the ones with integrity, competitive salary. Now for the cons. Here we go. Wow. If you read any of the interviews under 3 stars here, that should give you an accurate picture. Many of us were siloed in fear and was refreshed to see that there was more commonalities in this horrific and toxic work environment than I realized simply by reading these reviews. Someday, this will be an organizational case study on how an organization slowly evolved and festered into a mirror of the narcissistic CEO that oversees it. Sounds like Megan has been stopping by, huh? There is a Stephen Covey description of the character versus personality ethic. Look that up. This organization is squarely on the wrong side of that. I mean, Jesus. Having new employees post Glassdoor reviews within the first few weeks, really? I think I read another review here. If you strip those away, this org would be well under 3 stars. And unfortunately, 90% of the people I work with here who actually thrive are themselves at some level of psychopathology or trauma bonded. What's even sicker is many here are actually psychologists that see it all but do nothing. There are a few other standouts here that seem like poster children. It's nauseous. The best, meaning high integrity, highly effective, and just plain solid human beings. Employees left or were managed out. And yes, HR were very aware of your tactics in early 2022, it seemed. It would be one thing if this was truly an organization just going through transitions. It's not. It is sick as F. HR, don't even bother responding to this. Your canned answers and deflection are so transparently sick. Don't even bother, please. Y'all need to cure the coward bug running through your department. Stay away unless you have a really great mental health coach to help bail the water out of this sinking, sick, festering ship. Don't. Just don't. Advice to management. Go find a job in banking, military industrial complex, or the oil industry. You'll be well matched for those industries and will cause much less psychological harm. Yikes. I wonder if there's anything these employees or former employees can do around taking legal action, like a civil suit. I'm pretty sure, though, that this company has every employee sign arbitration agreements, in which probably why nobody has come forward to sue, because they're not allowed to. And for those that don't know what an arbitration agreement is, it's when you give away your rights to sue. And a lot of these corporations in America put these agreements out, getting the employee to sign it, and don't fully understand in the beginning that what they're signing is, if you do have a problem like this down the road, you're agreeing to settle the matter in the forum that these companies want to settle it in, which 9 times out of 10, the employee always loses, because in an arbitration type case, what happens is that these companies are the ones that hire the judge to sit and hear the case. And normally they're retired judges that are, employed by these big companies to preside over these types of employee cases, in which the company is the one that pays these judges. So it really is a one-sided affair. So my advice, anybody that's about to, sign on to work at a company, make sure that you look at that arbitration agreement. And if you have the option to not sign it, don't sign it. If you are forced to sign it because that's the only way that you can take the job, sign it, but know that there is a window of time that you have to be allowed to revoke it. I don't know if that's by state or if that's per the company policy that's set forth, but you do have that right if you're in the United States. I don't know about overseas if they have these agreements, but here they're real bitch. Anyhow, continuing on to the last review, and this one is brutal. So this last one is dated March 10th, 2023. Let me cut to the chase because it's pretty lengthy, and it says, the cons. I've been here for 3 years, and as much as I love this company, right now I'm disappointed. I've been, still am, bought into the mission, but the culture right now is not set up to reward top performers and keep them performing at a sustainable pace. With the economy, we are downsizing, but our leaders keep lying about it. CEO literally said that we were not doing layoffs, though he passive aggressively threatened that he might change if we don't keep up the pace. The same week, he said we weren't doing layoffs. Several people got laid off. It's been happening in sales, HR, marketing, brand, network ops, engineering, IT, and other teams since last year. They do it bit by bit, so they don't think anyone notices. We notice. We talk about striving for peak performance, so low performers are being let go or their responsibilities are offloaded to more capable people on the team while they get moved to different assignments. As a manager, I understand that low performers can definitely have a negative impact on the overall team morale. I'm not saying we should keep poor performers on the payroll, but if you're going to cut a role but expect the rest of the team to pick up the slack, you're now punishing your best performers for doing a good job. There are some leaders at the top who lead by intimidation, and one of our values as a company is do less, deliver more, which sounds good until you realize that the slackers at the company are the ones doing less, and the competent people who pick up the slack have to deliver more. That value is a great smokescreen for weaponized incompetence at many levels. CEO also made a big deal about changing one of our values from care for each person to care for each customer. because he thinks we've been a little too caring for ourselves. So disrespect each other and burn each other out for the sake of the customer? I don't know if that's what he intended, but that's not what leadership sounds like. Advice to management. Someone needs to give Alexi and the leadership team a reality check. The market is ours for the taking, and I want to stay along for the ride. But if you're going to sacrifice your people for the sake of the company when we're all burnt out, who will carry out the mission then? You're turning your back on your people right now, and it shows. Turn the ship around. There's still time to make it right. Like another reviewer said, HR needs to stop wasting time responding to these reviews. Is leadership even reading them? I doubt it. If so, why not act on the feedback you hear consistently from people? It's easy to dismiss Glassdoor as a dumping ground for the most negative people, but there are many that actually bring up great points. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Leadership should listen. Do some inner work yourselves. Do you really think that working your best people to the bone is the right move? If you just keep saying, if you can't keep up with the pace, then this isn't for you. But the pace is unsustainable, even for those of us who are top performers who love BU, BetterUP. You're going to lose all of us. HR, get it together. It's insane that you're letting Glassdoor ask employees to write reviews now. Or do you not realize these email blasts are going out? Please keep it together. Also, if you're confused about why employees are dumping on you here, is because you've ignored us when we've shared this feedback with you directly. I've been on all voices to share feedback anonymously. I talk to my manager, even at skip levels, to discuss how I can contribute to improvements here. These issues persist over time. They're not being addressed. There are some leaders who want to do the right thing, but other leaders above their pay grade steamroll their way forward, even if everyone around them tells them it's a bad idea. So you can stop saying that you have the mechanisms in place to hear feedback if you do nothing with it. No one's asking you to provide a perfect workplace, so stop gaslighting people by implying that's what we're asking for. We just want fair compensation if our responsibilities increase, and we want leaders that don't lie to us and create a culture of fear. I hope whoever this person is that wrote this finds this video and hears this. Number one, HR is not for the employees. They're really there for legal purposes. So get that out of your head about HR really caring about the employee health and making sure that you're treated fairly. They don't care. This is pretty standard. And I will say, in this last position that I was in a very high profile company who spewed all the things about how helpful HR is and diverse, inclusive, blah, 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 none of that was true. They cared first and foremost that their brand stayed intact. And if they had any employees there that threatened that, they will make sure that you're gone. So they don't care to hear all of this stuff. And I'm going to assume that you're hopeful, and I'm going to assume that you still believe that people can change. This is not going to change, especially when you have toxic people at the top, like Prince Harry, that thinks he knows everything and doesn't want to listen to any type of feedback or criticism. It's not going to work. And if you're faced with executive leadership who share this same mindset and don't want to listen to the employees, guess what? They're not going to start now. Trust your gut and leave. You can always come back if you see things improving, like they remove the CEO and there's new leadership and you're seeing growth. In fact, you will have an advantage because you've already worked at this company. That's if you want to go back. I highly doubt you would. You will be fine, but if you are afraid, which is understandable, start looking for another job and get out of that environment.
Just some quick facts. BetterUp has actually, maybe after the first 4 employees, has, because Eddie and I are not women, so that skewed the metrics, has always been majority women. So today I think we're almost 60% women as an organization.
I'm so sick and tired of these companies taking advantage of minorities as well as taking advantage of women. So yeah, he totes around saying that his company is 60% women. But what about equity, right? So if you look at the leadership team, Tell me, how is this diverse and how is this inclusive and demonstrating equality? You know, and by reading these reviews, and if you're telling me that 60% of the workforce at BetterUp are female, that tells me that you're taking advantage of these females. Alexi, I'm calling you out. You look stupid right now. Anyhow, that's all I got for you today. I'm going to leave you with this little clown show I put together on the way out. Hope you enjoy it. Don't forget to like, hit subscribe, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Is that investing in the well-being of our people is the same, if not the best way, as investing in the performance of our people.
Stop it. Get some help.
Actually, I think where I started with the introduction, Eddie and I, for years, understood that if we were going to realize the mission that we had built BetterUp around, that at some point, it wasn't about the business, it wasn't about the customers, it wasn't about the market, it was actually about
stochastic terrorism. Stochastic terrorism, which is the incitement of violence in an incitement of violence using digital means and large platforms so that individual themselves may not be the one that's wielding a weapon.
the world and how society views the role of mental health and the role of resilience and the role of peak performance.
You know what woke means? It means you're a loser.
And we were very clear early in our journey as we looked at who are luminaries in the world, who are leaders, who are people who are talking about this. There was a very, very short list. In fact, that list was about one person, and it was Prince Harry.
What the fuck?
There was a very, very short list. In fact, that list was about one person, and it was Prince Harry. So when we had the opportunity to meet Harry, for us, it was a bit of a no-brainer.
What would you do with a brain if you had one?
To have someone who for a decade plus had been advocating through different nonprofits he had started.
Are you serious?
Different foundations like Invictus.
My name is Talia Fayed, the one and only, aka Hood Barbie. Power keep going out because homeless people keep coming over here, cutting whatever they doing over here to get the copper to make their money. And my thing is, people got kids over here. People got stuff to do. I'm on camera looking a mess. I didn't get to do my hair, my makeup, nothing. Y'all charging over $1,000 for a studio. And y'all can't even keep homeless people from stealing y'all damn copper. Make it make sense, boo. Cutting whatever they doing. Y'all charging over
Everything woke turns to shit, okay?
It was such a fraud.